I guess Bruce didn't want me to talk. I'll remember that for that. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. As he said, I'm Tony Molinaro. I'm here speaking today on behalf of the International Helicopter Safety Foundation. For those of you not familiar with the IHSF, we are a government and industry cooperative effort. We have more than 500 volunteers from all parts of the helicopter industry who work in more than 50 different countries around the world. That includes a very strong team here in Europe. But there are teams working all around the world, in the US and Canada and Mexico and Brazil, a team in Russia, a team in New Zealand and other places, all focused to work together and reduce accidents in the helicopter industry. Our mission is to really help reduce those accidents through advocacy, education, and expertise. Yesterday, some speakers talked about the reasons why helicopter accidents occur. Here are 3 reasons that we do see throughout the world, and they're ones that everyone in this room probably could state also. Loss of control in flight, unintended instrument meteorological conditions, and low altitude operations. Those 3 issues lead us to the topics in my discussion. I've been asked to offer a brief overview of the proposed safety enhancements we are pursuing that are related to technology solutions. I'd like to discuss 3 of them. Enhanced vision systems, flight data monitoring, and stability augmentation technology. In the area of enhanced vision systems, we have a team of industry experts working with the FAA to survey all the products that are available and understand their current strengths and weaknesses. We are looking to develop operational criteria and performance criteria for helicopter advanced vision systems. Our goals with the technology are straightforward: to enhance flying within visual flight rules, to aid in the transition between VFR and IFR, and to maintain visual references during the visual segment of an instrument approach. Our group also is trying to answer just these 2 simple questions. What are the best practices for enhanced vision, and what is the best way to use specific technologies? The IHSF plans to publish guidance and best practices for the various technologies next year. So there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of this work is really analysis first, and then really put together something that could offer guidance or best practices, and then the promotion happens after that. So it takes more time than we'd like. Still talking about enhanced vision systems, as you can expect, the team is looking at multiple aspects of numerous systems. We're looking at infrared, we're looking at LiDAR, we're looking at different types of displays, interactions between other sensors in the cockpit, and also, as Bruce would appreciate, the human factors linked to enhancing our vision. But you can see here that there's multiple issues that are being studied. This whole list can get even longer. We're looking, from moisture to display ratio to eye fatigue. And I also want to note regarding enhanced vision systems that when we start to offer guidance to helicopter pilots, we will be emphasizing that enhanced vision systems are tools to use for specific situations and operations. Pilots should not think of the technology as a way to allow them to fly in very poor weather or beyond their operational parameters or beyond the parameters of the equipment that they're flying. As I mentioned, a team is digging deep into the issues, and we do expect to publish some guidance in 2020. There's a lot there with enhanced vision systems. The next technology is something we're all very familiar with, flight data monitoring. And I know yesterday we talked a lot about that in this room. Our current focus is just simply educating and increasing its usage, especially among operators of small fleets. That's where we see the area where this could be the most useful, is those small fleets, those folks flying those small helicopters. Its usage is strong, or it's growing in areas, of course, like oil and gas, with helicopter or ambulance, with law enforcement. We're also trying to expand it into the tour operator segment. but some small fleet operators are really trying to just determine the basics. Do audio video recorders best fit their needs, or are data recorders the right equipment? And many of the small fleet operators really need to be convinced that FDM of any kind is worth the cost and the manpower required. That's the uphill battle that we still see out there. And all the operators want the systems to be really more lightweight, more portable, less expensive, and less complex. The downside, however, of complete portability is that pilots will need to be proactive to turn on and to use the technology. And we know that human nature shows us that this is a very tough behavior to teach. So the folks out there want it a certain way, and that could be a problem. We know that if it's very, very portable, if it's one of those simple things you can just bring onto the helicopter itself, people might not want to turn it on or forget to turn it on and really not use it at all. Then it's sort of a worthless piece of equipment that's sitting there. To the operators of small helicopter fleets, we are working to explain the basic benefits of FDM in this way. One, use it primarily as a proactive data monitor to improve training, operational techniques, and maintenance. And two, to use it as a tool to expand a culture of safety in the organization. And three, to understand how data monitoring can reduce operational costs. The bigger roadblock, however, may be pilots. If they don't buy into the system, if they believe that it only exists to spy on them, operators really will be hesitant to utilize it because they may be creating a workplace problem. We know that that's an issue too out there, and we know we have to work through that. Nevertheless, we still want to develop also a mentoring system where small operators can meet the large operators that use FDM, and the small operators can understand how to use it, how to see its benefits, and to hear the success stories. I know that EASA also has been promoting the benefits of flight recorders for light helicopters. I think this is one of those topics that really could be coordinated by ESPNR and the U.S. helicopter team and really develop those strong messages together for the media and for the helicopter community. I know that there was just a recent article you put together on that. And so it's something that the teams, again, two very strong teams could work together on and get some messages coordinated. It might be one of those best opportunities. Finally, I do want to mention then about stability augmentation technology, or simple autopilot for light helicopters. We have a team surveying the systems available today, looking at the operating requirements and looking at the certification issues. We want to encourage usage of the systems that are out there now, and we know that this technology can help to reduce accidents, especially fatal ones. But we have a lot more analysis work to do. I wish I could stand up here and say, here's all the things we've done with stability augmentation, but it's been a slow go to really figure out what's out there and how it can be used. We really want to do a better job of educating helicopter owners about the current technology and about the trade-offs of installing the equipment and really about any kind of pilot training issues. There's a lot of material that still needs to be simplified and written, and more education that needs to be done. I'm hoping that next year at this time we'll have a lot more materials to offer about that system. Again, it's very important for us. We think it can be very, very helpful with light helicopters. And again, it might be one of those that our two very strong teams could work together on. I think it's probably an important one too here in Europe. And for these three technology initiatives, I guess I want to reiterate what's the work that's in front of us. Regarding enhanced vision systems, we plan to educate pilots about best practices for using the technology, and we want to promote proper usage of this kind of equipment. Regarding flight data monitoring, we want to talk face-to-face with pilots to explain how it can benefit them and enhance their safety. And finally, regarding stability augmentation, we plan to create a report as an initial step to educate operators about the technology and follow it up with more promotional efforts. And that, to me, that is our overview on our technology initiatives. I know I have a lot of time left. I want to talk a little bit about, and maybe a little IHSF advertisement here. During the past 12 years, our safety experts have produced nearly 200 safety toolkits and brochures and videos and other materials that are available for free download from the IHSF website. Hopefully yesterday, many of you grabbed one of the USB thumb drives that contains all of our safety materials. A lot of those materials are put together by the European team and by the US team. All of them are on that little stick. I have 3 more left in my pocket if someone wants one. Really, if you can use that, or you can go right on our website and click on the stick itself, and you can get all our materials that way too. We really want to emphasize that all these materials are put together by our safety experts from around the world, and it could be very, very useful for instructing. It could be very useful for pilots, and you can use it any way you want. Print it all out. Wonderful safety leaflets, wonderful safety bulletins, and every size and every kind of topic that could be very, very helpful. You can also find us on Facebook. We have probably about 12,000 followers on Facebook. We have our Twitter site, probably about 3,000 to 4,000 followers on Twitter. I really encourage you to go online and use all of our free materials and to become a follower on those other social media so you know what are the key topics that are out there and how we're trying to reduce those accidents. And in addition to our efforts to educate regarding technology enhancements, we've really been busy in many other safety projects aimed at reducing fatal helicopter accidents. I want to quickly go through those if I can. During 2019, we have a team that developed and promoted a white paper showing how drones can supplement and support manned helicopters in high-risk operations. Last month, our team released 2 new airmanship bulletins, one on the vortex ring state and another on power available limitations. Our team is ready to release, or we did it maybe last week, best practices document offering guidelines on pre-flight inspections and final walkarounds. We also have a new fact sheet on that, on the most important pre-flight actions for a helicopter pilot. The team is completing work on a proposed FAA advisory circular regarding the use of simulation to rehearse at-risk scenarios and really to develop safe decision-making. The team is collaborating with fixed-wing organizations to promote a new reference tool for pilots about impairment that can be caused by certain over-the-counter medications. We see that as an area that has been part of the accident scenario that pilots don't even realize it. And finally, I really want to talk about we're trying to reinforce a culture of safety by working with the FAA to present a series of what we call Go Local workshops. They're 2-hour sessions that dive deeply into one specific helicopter accident. We discuss the tragedy of lost lives. We help pilots to see that many operational decisions are not black and white decisions. The workshops have been hosted already in Phoenix and Fort Worth, and we have commitments for next year in 12 more U.S. cities, and we have others around the world. I know Mexico's very interested in doing their own Go Local. And they're workshops that focus strongly on the issue of pilot decision-making and its role in accidents. We're realizing that pilot decision-making is just the key issue out there for a lot of the accidents that happen. So we're trying to take it head on and really have workshops that talk about pilot decision-making. And finally, there's still a lot more to accomplish. We're really trying to make our efforts to make a difference. But we feel that working together in workshops like this and workshops really across the world, we're really saving lives. And that's the bottom line for us. Thank you very much for your time.